Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Express, which is becoming everyone's favorite talk show. It is profoundly real and interesting, so without any further delay, please help me welcome back to the stage the beautiful and expressive director of Express, Carolyn. Carolyn, take it away.
Welcome to Express Talk Show. This is Carolyn, your host. Today, our guest is Mr. Steve Reed. But before I ask him to come into the studio, I am going to tell you a little bit about him, and then I'm going to ask you to subscribe, to save, and to share. You can share for those who know they've done so already, or they may have liked, and even most of all, subscribed, because that's how you're going to keep up with the content of the show. For those who have been here with me traveling all along, I thank you so much. And for those who maybe just stopped by today, thank you. Please do not delay by subscribing, and we hope that you'll continue to follow us. My guest, as I said before, is Steve Reed. He was born in Toronto, Canada, to a single parent home, and he was loved and still loved and cherished as the firstborn child. Following his arrival was my brother. He had a brother by the name of Trevor, who is 26 years old, his sister Camilla Kimlock, who is 25 years old, and at the tender age of 4, his family relocated to Grenada Hills in California to start a new phase of life there. In the year 1991, Steve graduated from John F. Kennedy High School with great intentions to attend college in the future. This dream became a reality in 1994 when he attended the Angeles Valley College in San Fernando, California, as a social work major. After attending community college, he felt that he was ready to take on the challenge of leaving his family and going to school out of state. So was given the privilege, he was then given the privilege in the year of 1999 to attend Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama. This helped him to expand his musical talents as he joined a singing group called Matai, which I'm not sure I got that pronounced, but we'll talk about that later, which comprised of 4 talented young men with abilities in writing, producing, singing, and arrangement of music pieces. He had the opportunity of touring the country while proclaiming the faith as a young Christian artist to diverse groups of listeners. This group soared to the pinnacles of success as they signed to a major recording label based out of Atlanta, Georgia. But he later on left the group as there was a little bit of changes, and he decided now to focus on his education and completed his degree in organizational management and leadership aside from his bachelor degree in psychology and counseling to later become a mental health director and now is a special education teacher. Let's welcome welcome welcome.
Hello,
How are
good
you?
afternoon.
Good.
Awesome.
Just one moment. Just one moment. Let me tell you something. Audience, you see this man? Don't take him lightly. I don't know where he get his patience from because we had a lot of challenges, but he hung in there with me. And now we are here to tell his story. That's a story already. He's a champion. Thank you so much, Steve, for your patience and for hanging in there with us.
Absolutely, no problem.
Okay,
No problem.
great. So I read your bio, and we're just going to go over that and then elaborate on some other things. All right. So you lived in Toronto, Canada. Huh. How would you compare it to living in United States?
Well, I was only in Canada since the age of 4,
Okay.
so I don't know that much about it. But I do remember the snow, and I remember how clean it was. Obviously, in the
Mm,
states, we have a lot of litter, and it's not as
yes.
polluted. I noticed Canada compared to the United States.
Yeah, I love Canada too. It
And then
reminds me of
Canada,
England. Pardon?
hmm
You were saying something.
and then also Canada has free healthcare. That's
Okay.
another big
Yes.
difference.
Just like England. Yes. That's NHS in England. I don't know. Maybe they've changed it recently because I really have not been back there recently. But yes. Okay. So as a single parent, you said your mom left where she was living and then came to United States. That's when tell me about that. I may not have got that correct, but you can elaborate on that part.
Yes, I don't know. Might be familiar. A lot of people from the West Indies, Jamaica, um, they migrate to the United States to have a better living and better
Mm,
opportunities. And so at that time, my mom, um, some of her siblings were already here. Sisters and brothers had already moved to California and other parts of the United States. So my mom went to Canada first and became a citizen in Canada, and then met my father, who was also Jamaican from Kingston, and um, they had me.
okay.
Things didn't work out, um, and so my mom pretty much left. There was a lot of abuse in the relationship, and
Mm,
so my mom decided she was going to go ahead and, you know, not deal with that kind of abuse. So she just kind of took all her belongings, most of her belongings, except for a piano. She was really into piano lessons,
music,
and
I
she
know.
bought a piano, but she couldn't take that. Yeah, she couldn't take it with her, so she left in the middle of the night. Took me, and we got on the plane, and I think I was like 4 years old at the time, and didn't look back.
Did you know much about what was going on, or she just told you now that you as you got older? Did you know the
No,
intricacies of
I was
where you
aware
were?
of it. Yeah, when I became probably 10, I think she explained a lot to me what was going on and who my father was and whatnot. And I was
Mm.
able to speak to him on the phone, and
Oh,
he tried to apologize for some things that he was doing. But in general, it's just a lot of he just didn't really grow up. He was very abusive to her, and from what I understand, he was alcoholic also. And so
okay.
to this day, he probably died. I'm not sure, but I know he was dying at the time of alcoholism. And so
Okay.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So I'm glad your mom got herself out of that situation because who knows what maybe would have
yeah,
happened to her, huh? And to you too. All
hmm
right. So you
right.
came to Canada, and as you said here, your other two siblings, how did you find that? You were the only boy. Were you? Hang on, let's see. Your sister and your brother, Trevor. How did you
Uh-huh.
How you and your siblings got on, your brother and your sister.
Well, my mother met uh, a friend in Canada, um, and we have different fathers.
Okay.
And she married him and brought my brother in the world. We're all 3 years
Mm.
apart, and then my sister was actually born in California. So both me and my brother were born in Canada, and then my and they have the same father. And then my and then and then my sister was born in California.
Okay. How is your
Hmm.
relationship with them? Do you see them
With
very
my brother
often?
and sister,
Yes. Yes.
yes, we're very very close. Yes, yeah. My sister is a missionary.
All right.
She
Tell me more about that. Tell me more about your sister and missionary work.
Yeah, sure. She is a missionary that lives in Honduras, and she's been doing missionary work for about 16, 17 years now.
Mm.
She worked for the orphanage for probably 10 years, and then started to work for the school system, Adventist school system, and then a couple of Christian schools. And she actually adopted a little Honduran girl who's my niece. Um, and she
That,
couldn't, but we were trying to get her to the States because she, once again, she was at the orphanage, and her mother was, just couldn't take care of her. She was out in the
mm,
streets, drugs, and some other things. And so my sister decided to go ahead and adopt her. But they wouldn't, the Honduran immigration would not allow her to leave the country because her mother wouldn't give up the rights. So
mm,
my sister just went ahead and decided she was going to take care of her. And from that point, we forward now 15 years later, and now she wants to go to Oakwood College now.
oh, it's so
My
sweet.
niece, yeah, and so she'll be eligible to come out of the country in 2 years. So I'm very excited about that. I was able to visit her for the first time this year, excuse me,
Yeah, I remember. I
my
remember.
for my birthday. Yeah, so that was awesome, and
Yes.
we really enjoyed it. We all enjoyed the time there.
Yes.
But I'm really excited for her being here in 2 years.
Yes. And to go to Oakwood, right? You see, it's just the thing about
Uh huh.
planting a seed in someone's life, not knowing how the future, but the gut feeling, let me take care of this child. And now look, she's going to go right to where you did your training and back to school. What
Absolutely.
about seeds? I
Hmm.
said about the importance of someone planting a seed in another person's life. Anyone ever planted a seed in your life?
Yes, I had a um, father father figure that was in my life that pretty much was kind of took me under his wing as a mentor. Met him in church in California. He actually was a
Okay.
pianist, um, very similar to what I do now.
Were you into
And
music then?
his, I was into
Okay.
music very heavily
Then.
then, and,
Okay.
um, and kind of one of my reasons for wanting to go to Oakwood was because of the musical influences that were there. He did
Okay.
not go to Oakwood. He's actually a psychologist, but
Okay.
he was the person that helped me with school, with tuition, helped me with work. I actually worked on his unit for about 5 years as a supervisor. He hired me um, and just kind of got me into understanding psychology and mental health, and kind of inspired me to go further into that, and just kind of explore foster care and the things that's some of our children have been going through. And so I've kind of been in this business of working with children with behavioral issues um, and developmental issues, also stick and just yeah, a plethora of different issues that children go through. I've been trained to kind of you know help them through that.
Okay. Just because someone planted a seed and he, because of his, area, you got sort of close to him, being there with him at work. Is he still alive?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Is he still
He is.
alive?
He is. He
Do
is
you
alive.
connect
He's
with him frequently?
all the time, all the time.
Wow.
He just had a birthday in January, and he works at a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona, and that's kind of where I first met him in California, but I started to on his day hospital um, for foster care in Phoenix, Arizona. So when I was at Oakwood, every summer I would go back to the unit and work
That's
for him and
mhm.
just kind of get my experience until I graduated.
Wow. You know, people like those I love to talk to. I really love to talk to
Mm-hmm.
them because they're not ordinary people. I
Right.
know each time he sees you, he's happy that he did what he did. And I would not be surprised if he's done it to other people too.
Absolutely.
Planted seed in other people's life. I'd
Oh
love
yeah,
to talk.
he's definitely, definitely,
I'd love to bring him to the show
definitely,
and have a conversation with him.
for
I'm
sure.
so glad.
Oh yeah, he
So
would love to
you are
come as well.
now,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you are now mentoring students. Tell us
I
more in
am.
detail
Yeah.
about. Tell me more about that. How many
Well,
students you have in your class, and what's your specialty? And just tell me. Tell us.
first started working children with that were on the spectrum, that were autistic, um, and then started to work in the foster care arena with children that had behavioral issues that were in and outside of jail and juvenile detention centers, and just kind of started to deal with those kind of behaviors. And just I think God has blessed me to just really understand that these behaviors that you see out here, thinking about shooting at schools and breaking into cars and houses and using guns and whatnot, those behaviors come from somewhere. And so,
Mm,
as I continued to study, I started to understand that you have to start looking at, don't look at the behavior, look at where the behavior is coming from behind what, what is going on. And so, as I did research and I started developing relationships with these kids, I started to understand that a lot of this stuff comes from home, from broken homes,
mm,
from generational curses, kids that their parents were doing the same things that they're doing, and then their grandparents were doing the same things that they were doing. And it's just kind of like a generational um, thing that goes on every single year where it's just, they don't have a point of reference. And so I feel like God has blessed me to kind of be that point of reference. A lot of times when you ask some of these kids what they want to be, the first thing they're saying to you is, "I want to be a rapper," or "I want to be," just what they see on TV because that's what's in
mm.
front of them.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
you know, and it doesn't seem to be fun to be a teacher or um, a mentor or a counselor because that's not as flashy. It doesn't seem like the money is there. And
Mm,
so, like I said, that's where I come in, where um, I just teach them a different way. Let them understanding that that lifestyle
mm-hmm.
is not going to get you anywhere. But more than anything, I've learned to develop relationships with them and
Yes.
understanding them and accepting them for who they are. And, you know, um,
I think we got a disconnection there with Steve Reed, who we're just having our interview with. He's now a mentor for his children in school, and someone planted a seed in his life, was a mentor for him, and that's how he became teacher and specialized in what he specialized in, psychology. We Okay, so we'll see if we can pick back. What we'll do part two. I'll just read. I'll just in the meantime, I will just, as I normally do, I normally have yes, I normally have a quote at this time, usually before we close. And I have two. It says, "A child must be taught how to think, not what to think. Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I learn." That's a quote from, I'm not sure who it is. There's another quote also here. It is said, not sure of the person who gave the quote, "A mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helping bring it out of you." I'm going to say bye now until another time. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and to like. See you then another time.